Hello there, hello there, hello there, everyone. How the devil are we all? I'm very well, thank you for asking. This is the happy hour, and it wouldn't be a happy hour on my channel if there weren't technical problems and obviously a late start. But anyway, Christy Winters will be with me, and Chrisiosity.
We're doing it live. Joe Rogan half-assedly endorsed Bernie, said a bunch of nice things about him, and Bernie's campaign, or Bernie, thought it was neat. Bernie has been on Joe Rogan's show before. In fact, it's one of my favorite episodes.
The point is, no one cares that Joe Rogan endorsed Bernie Sanders because Bernie Sanders hasn't run a transphobic or racist campaign to try and win over Joe Rogan and his idiot audience. So the fact that he's endorsed him clearly isn't because of anything that's inherently wrong there. The point is what you then do with that, because he didn't even have to respond. He could have ignored it and said, well, okay, he's endorsed me, fine, whatever. Like nothing, just don't comment on it. He didn't have to, like, counter... big up, if that's a phrase, Jesus, Joe Rogan and him being like,
how white are you?
Yeah, I'm extraordinarily white. I'm so white I'm almost fucking see-through. That's how white I am. Yeah, so you didn't have to like send out this tweet of this video message, which was specifically made by the Bernie campaign to be like, oh yeah, look, me and Joe Rogan are awesome, cool, awesome. And no, Joe Rogan's a dick.
Well, I think he basically said what I would say, which is that I have no problem with Joe Rogan kind of endorsing Bernie, but it was a bit, I thought it was a bit much how much his campaign chose to promote that. And, you know, as if this was this great thing, when really, yeah, I mean, Joe Rogan is popular, but he also is a person who has very harsh transphobic things to say about and has had, you know, racist things to say and sexist things to say, and you know, it's he's just not necessarily that guy for as far as all that goes. And I was uncomfortable with his promotion of this endorsement, and I think a lot of people were.
Yeah, it's not that Joe Rogan endorsed him, it's that he responded in the way he did is the issue. Well, not he, because it's the campaign, isn't it? But you know what I mean, look, it's his name on the fucking thing.
You'd think that would be great. You think, right? Wrong! Okay, the entire internet was just on fire for like 3 days straight. Every goddamn checkmark and their mothers crawled out of the
fucking hyperbolic nonsense going on here.
Yeah.
The entire internet was on fire for 3 days. No, it wasn't. Some people on Twitter were like, that's not cool. Can you not do that, please?
Right. Also, I'm feeling bad for the bunny she just elbowed in the face on her table.
What?
I don't know if you noticed that, but she's got, on her table, she's got like sort of pink stars and bunnies and, I don't know, star catchers or butterfly catchers. And when she put her elbows down, I think
she's small and cute. That's the thing, Christy.
She's a pony.
A couple of weeks ago, when that whole war and sexism thing was out, right? And there were some people very, very angry online. There were Bernie supporters who were very angry online, and they were making their anger known. And I put out a couple of tweets saying, look, Warren supporters, should we get the nomination, it's Warren supporters that we're going to want to come over here. Like, they're right up our wheelhouse in our... when you think of the grassroots voter people that who would be interested in voting for Bernie. And so maybe we should be a little bit nice. Like, maybe we shouldn't like scream at people on Twitter who are women or who are people of color and be really rude. And maybe we shouldn't do these things because it looks bad and it's bad optics and we're trying to get elected. And that's the whole point, right? So this did not go over well.
But
to say the very fucking
you're forgetting that you've already got the 4 Tulsi Gabbard voters that exist in the world. Those are wrapped up, so checkmate.
So I guess checkmate. So I mean, and to me, I think we have, as you kind of suggested, Kevin, I think we have a better chance with your average Elizabeth Warren voter, should Bernie get the nomination. And it does look better for him right now than it does for Elizabeth Warren. So, you know, it seemed to me like a good idea to just be really nice. Yeah. Well, and just to make sort of make that sort of, hey, you know, I get it. Let's talk about it. But, you know, this is how we feel about it. And this is what we think. And this is the reasons that we think that Sanders is a positive force and et cetera, instead of being like, you bitch, you know, get off the internet. I don't think that I think we're better off. Yes, of course you want to outreach. And that's why I had no problem with Bernie going on Joe Rogan's show and talking to people and putting forward his points. I have no problem with any left-wingers going on to Joe Rogan's show. I think that
you can say is outreach.
It's outreach and going out there. And it's really, though, you have to be very careful about not screwing over the people you've already got on your side because you're going for somebody new. And if people see it as a betrayal of themselves, of their own identity and their own concerns, and they're like, well, I have been a Bernie supporter all this time, you know, and I have worked for you. I've donated to your campaign. I've been part of your grassroots movement, and now you're throwing me aside. You know, you're throwing this concern that I have aside, and it's a very strong concern because, you know, when you're talking about Joe Rogan, he's pretty fucking transphobic, and those 12 million people, he has said some pretty fucking transphobic things to them. You know, it's you know, that's a thing that you have to be careful of and you have to be aware of and sensitive about, and not like just immediately, oh, don't worry about those fuckers. They'll just put up with it, like, because we're gonna just do what we're gonna.
Yeah. Well, they don't have a choice, right? We're the best candidates, so they don't have a choice. Where are they going to go?
Well, let's just literally make that argument in a second.
Can't jump off, but I will catch you.
Well, hey there, everyone. Thanks for hopping over to my channel, and I want to welcome back our guests, Kevin and Chrisiosity. Hey, guys. And we're just going to pick it up where we left off, right?
Okay.
So it's really important to note that this woman is a Warren supporter. Every campaign makes mistakes. Good people make mistakes. This is one. Please denounce this and take down the video. Transphobic, racist, sexist, white nationalist, xenophobic endorsements should not be accepted, never mind celebrated by leaders of progressive movements.
He has. He's given his future platform to Rogan. Yeah, I think LGBT people have every right to feel maybe not entirely fucking happy about that.
And there's like an argument going on between, again, saying that we don't want to win, or do we want to win, or do we not want to win? Of course we want to win. However, there's a question of what's the best way to win, you know, and the assumption that your base or the people that you assume are going to be in your base will always be there for you is not necessarily the best assumption to work off of, you know.
Taking people's votes for granted doesn't work.
So it's kind of like you have to consider who are the voters you have, who are the voters you're most likely to get, and then sure, do outreach, but try to find a way to do outreach that doesn't alienate your own base. It's also important. And it's something that you have to consider.
Exactly, and the libs that June likes owning are exactly the kind of people she's now quote unquote owning. Who Bernie Sanders is going to have to get to vote for him. If they don't, he doesn't win, either in the primary or the general election.
Rogan is a transphobic ass. Transphobia kills. This is a huge fucking deal to me. 1,000 retweets, 4,000 likes.
She's getting
Bernie
mad
Sanders
about
has
the
the
engagement.
most.
She's getting mad about engagement.
Yeah.
Whose
That's
account is this? Maybe they're a huge account.
Didn't Lover of an Egg get like 10 million likes once or something? Like, who cares? Is it relevant to anything? Also,
I do want to
what's
say,
wrong with the sentence that's being said there? Sorry, Chris. What's wrong with literally the thing you read out there, June? Rogan is a transphobic ass. Transphobia kills. Yeah. Why is that a problem? Do you disagree with either of those statements? And if so, why so?
Chris Yastity, you have the floor.
First of all, I want to point out that she has been she showed the person who got 12 likes, and now all of a sudden we can't see who this person is. Like, the cowardice. Yep. Anyway, but I don't disagree with this tweet at all, and I think that she's talking about how she feels about it. I mean, I could tell you how I definitely made up my mind that I was going to go for Bernie. There was a situation, if you remember, where they were going around and ICE was going to do this sort of mass collection of people to deport. And, several of the Democratic nominees did say something about it, condemning it after the fact. And Bernie was the one who did something before the fact. He sent out like a message to people to give them a heads up, to let everybody know about their rights. And to me, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for somebody who is going to go the extra mile and prioritize marginalized people and their rights. And so, look, everybody gets into the White House, and the White House changes them, right? It happens to every single person. Nobody is going to go in there and just get their stuff that they want to get. Yes, I like Bernie's policies, but I also have to consider, is he actually going to follow through? Is this going to be more like Obama, who turned out to be a lot more centrist than we thought he was going to be? And this is the sort of thing that people evaluate when they are looking at a primary, and they say, is this somebody who, for a short-term political boost, will throw an entire group of people under the bus? And if so, is that the person that I want to go with? And so while I'm still promoting Bernie for various reasons, and I still think that, his policies are the best policies and the closest to what I would have, I was very uncomfortable with him promoting Rogan. And that's why I'm not looking for business as usual in the White House. And that's not what I'm hoping to get from Bernie. So for him to sort of turn around and be like, no, this guy has a lot of people, so we're just going to go with it. He's got 7 million subscribers, so fuck it.
Very well said, I think.
Who else are you going to vote for? Who's the better option in this case? Just like voting on identity base, this is unironically a privileged position to be able to just be like, oh yeah, I don't want to vote for the most progressive candidate in the race.
Oh, wow.
Somebody who isn't him.
Yep, go ahead.
I forgot this bit. Yeah, this is some weird ass appropriation of leftist rhetoric, which is ironically quite a rightist tactic, actually. But yeah, that's a really privileged position to say. What? To say that you've got some semblance of fucking principle. Because there are lots of trans people who I've seen. And to be fair, I've seen trans people who've said that they don't really give a fuck. Okay, fine. But the trans people who do give a fuck for this, they're not in the privileged position you claim. How are you going to dismiss them?
This is where I...
Yeah, oh, she does. This is,
Okay.
yeah, this is Christy, this is literally the timestamp I sent to you.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I didn't watch it because I just watched 5 minutes of it.
Oh well, thanks. So I bothered timestamping the fucking link for you.
No, I told you.
God,
I said I watched the first 5 minutes. I wrote this in the Facebook message. I watched the first 5 minutes, and I was laughing so hard I wanted to do the rest live, and then I went LOL shitlord edging.
But I literally timestamped the link so you would see this bit because this bit's amazing.
Okay, well,
this was the bit I wanted you to see.
All right, well, we're gonna watch it now.
Anyway, doesn't matter. Yeah, I'll get to watch your reaction live or hear it anyway.
All right, so everyone's got bated breath now. All right, so I'll hit play.
Applies to Tucker Carlson. Everyone cool with accepting his endorsement? Yes.
Oh my god! Did you see that?
Yeah, that's when I turned it off. I went, oh god.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
I told you.
Aren't you glad you waited until I saw it live? Oh my god! Tucker Carlson's endorsement
amazing.
Would be a good. Sorry, did she just say? Sorry, am I still awake? Tucker Carlson. Tucker
Carlson.
Tucker Carlson.
Immigrants are making America dirty. Tucker Carlson. Yeah, that guy.
Okay. All right. My mind melted. Sorry.
That would be fine. That would be absolutely fine if he endorsed if Tucker Carlson endorsed a candidate, I would vote for anyone else.
How about Richard Spencer, June? Would that be okay? David Duke? Would you be down with that too? Is it anybody really?
I think that's the argument.
Tucker Carlson votes for Bernie Sanders. That is one more vote for Bernie Sanders. If Tucker Carlson goes on Fox News and endorses Bernie Sanders to his audience, that's more votes for Bernie Sanders. I don't understand what these people think an election is.
Are you mental, Joan? Do you think any Fox News viewers are going to vote for Commie Bernie?
I mean, there is. We talked about the populist. The partisan populist that floats between like a Trump and a Bernie because of very narrow policy agreements, Venn diagram. But that's not much of the Fox News audience.
No, Fox News would vote for like a fucking lump of shit before they voted for a leftist.
In what universe? Also, I'm sorry, I just can't.
Yeah, again, this would be, you don't want your outreach to boomerang back in your face. You know, yes. You're not, it's that whole one in the hand is worth two in the bush kind of thing. Like, you have to keep that in mind. Yeah. You know, when you're sitting with your hands in the bush, you've got to, yes. You got to pay attention to that. This is, Tucker Carlson is so vile. You can't make people think that you're okay with any of that shit, right? Like I can understand just letting Joe Rogan give an endorsement and just kind of walking away. But this is what happens because you end up with people being mad or people feeling betrayed or, you know, like a grassroots movement that is based like Bernie's is on certain moral principles, then has to sort of stick to some of these moral principles and these economic principles and has to show respect to the people in its grassroots base.
I really don't. People should be honest. They think the ends justify the means. But that doesn't sound very progressive when they've been lecturing everyone on purity for years. They think the ends justify the means? The means here being endorsing the most progressive candidate to an audience of 7 million people.
Straw man.
Yeah. It was about Bernie's actions signal boosting him.
The ends here being that progressive candidate winning the election. Can't find the issue. Hillary must be quiet. Joe Rogan must be boosted. It's like a seminar on the role of gender in U.S. politics. Weed man bad because bad opinions.
Wow. That's wow, that's a sophisticated analysis.
Yeah, this is like fucking hell. Is she Noam Chomsky now? What? Amazing, yeah.
Another straw man.
I
can't wait
don't know
till
where
she
to
takes up
start
her
with that.
teaching position at Harvard. Yeah.
Christiosity, go ahead.
I don't know where to start with that. I don't think his weed has anything to do with it. I'm not a big fan of Hillary, and I'm not a big fan of the way that she has used her platform necessarily in this particular election cycle. But okay, I'm not going to tell her she should be quiet, and I'm not going to tell Rogan he needs to be quiet. I just think that, you have to be careful who you say, yay, I've got this endorsement of. Honestly, I think a lot of Bernie fans who think that Joe Rogan is awesome, should Hillary endorse him, would not be thrilled.
And hitting play.
Warmonger good because woman. Here's a hot take from everyone's favorite Karen Summers. When you bring bigots into your
Oh, that's her that's basically her bearing tactic. I must really get under her skin if she's got that.
You got 3 a.m. You got 3 a.m.
Mad.
You got 3 a.m. from behind a Twitter block at 3 a.m. pwned. You're the one that looks bad here, Christy. Definitely.
Yeah, because one, I'm not a blue check mark, and two, I'm not mad. I'm making a statement. Like, this was about the mad, and she had one person that she went on and on and on about, and everyone else has been completely calm, and also talking about redirecting Joe Rogan up to a much bigger audience than he would have had than if he had not. But okay, all right. And yeah, go ahead.
Just that, but she's going on about how everyone else is mad. How many times has she like sort of punch the table, slap the table, or put a hand?
The bunny, smack the bunny. Stop smacking the bunny, June.
Okay, that's definitely prison slang for something. I don't know what, but I'm definitely not going to Urban Dictionary to find that out.
Style space. What the fuck are you what space? They're going into the voting booth and fucking voting. What space?
Oh.
What?
Oh, this is just ignorance.
Yes.
This is so dishonest, isn't it?
All right. See, what happens is there's what's called the ground game. And no, I think we know.
What do I mean, space? Wow, June.
Because the only thing that exists is literal physical space. The idea of like a conceptual space, like maybe, I don't know, Twitter discussions.
Space, yes.
Yeah.
or rallies.
Or, I don't know, a YouTube channel, yes. June, maybe.
She's in an online space. Making fun of the concept.
Yeah, she's basically swimming. She's in a swimming pool going, I don't believe in water.
But even with this, like, what does she think? Bernie got into some trouble, and I think, things got better when he originally came out because of sexual harassment in his campaign. So where does she think that happened? In the voting booth?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is that what she thinks everybody waited, then they went into the voting booth and sexually harassed each other, and that's the problem? Like, this is what people are talking about.
Oh, yeah, that's a straw man, Christiosity. They caucused on behalf of sexual harassment and against sexual harassment, and they came to the conclusion maybe we shouldn't be doing sexual harassment anymore.
Well, that's okay. So that's good thinking on their part.
Which is strange, because I thought Iowa would definitely vote in favor of sexual harassment, but there we go.
I really think they will. I think maybe those polls were fake news.
No, they were performative outrage.
Oh,
please.
Yeah. Well, no one believes in anything. So
certainly not space, conceptual online space or anything. Or even physical space,
exactly. Well,
like rallies.
You can talk about your conceptual spaces, but she's got alternative facts.
Like
so
your campaign headquarters and your events and your volunteer groups and socialized things. All that is your political space, June. All of it. Oh my. Okay. Just have to All right. Anyway, sorry. doing my pinky thing again and hitting play.
What good will it be to get your revolution but forfeit your progressive values? I just need to know, when and where did Bernie forfeit his progressive values? Bernie campaign.
Hang on. Well, no one's saying he. Well, no one's saying he absolutely went and forfeited all of his progressive values. The point is, he definitely compromised himself.
Hitting play.
Percentage. Are they like, yes, everyone within that percentage agrees with me 100% and they are super woke and super pure. The working class, the poor, the people that you are fighting for aren't ideologically pure. I don't, like, in these people, in their perfect world, there would be, like, armed guards standing outside the voting booth.
Stop the fucking video, because this pisses me off so damn much.
You go.
Stop. Stop, projecting this shit onto the working class, okay? This idea that upper class or middle class people are somehow just wonderful and better, and working class and poor people. First of all, working class and poor people are far more fucking diverse than the upper classes. You get it the further up in the class you get, the more that you have a white majority, and the fewer marginalized people you're going to see. And when you go to, because I was working class my whole damn life, all right? And I know that there are different areas, there are different regions, there are places geographically, and the difference there is geographically, or what the overall demographics are, where a place might be particularly white or particularly this or particularly that. But when, most people who are working class, they have to work directly day in and day out in very diverse workplaces. And so, you learn shit. That's where I learned a lot of the shit that I learned. And when I came out of, this buttfuck rural white town, there was a lot of shit I didn't know. And I learned it because I was working side by side in physical, labor with other people. And everywhere that I've worked as a working class person, everybody I know as a working class person has this experience and could probably teach upper class people a fucking thing or two. Honestly, we're not the ones living in gated communities, closed off from the rest of the goddamn world, and going, I don't care about the fucking poors and the fucking browns and the fucking these people and the fucking that people. We're the ones in the most mixed, the most complicated thing, and we're coming together and working together. And, I work all with people who speak different languages, or who, come from different cultures and different countries and are different colors. And you learn a lot of shit. I'll tell you right now, food. If you ever want to make friends with people outside of your own culture, just start bringing food. Works like a charm. Anyway, that's not what's important. What is important is I am so fucking sick of hearing this bullshit about the working class. And I'm always hearing it from people who are not working class, and working class people. I'm sorry. I know I'm going on a crazy rant here.
No, go ahead and finish up, and then Kevin can, I think he was just echoing your point.
Yeah. So working class people are plain spoken, because the kind of political correctness that we fucking hate is the political correctness that comes from our bosses, who find new and ever more fascinating ways of describing how they're going to screw us out of our paycheck. Who come up with things like, oh, we have a new system and it's got this great name, and I can't even remember what some of the things I've been told is. And what this means is you'll be working more for less, but we're going to call it something really positive. And so I do think that there is something in working class people, speaking in a very general way about being plain spoken and telling it like it is and calling out bullshit when you're going to call out bullshit. And I think that when people who are working class are in fact racist, because some people are, that's just a thing, they're more blatantly racist. But I would swear to God, they are not more racist. They are not more sexist. They are not more of any of these things than anybody else. Okay. If anything, I believe that they are less, but nobody fucking checks. This isn't based on anything. This is based on these classist assumptions that working class people are these dirty fucking racist pores. All right, I'm done.
Yeah, I was just going to echo that point. As a working class person myself, it really, really irritates me to hear middle class suburban people like June and like Carl and various other people basically defend racism in working class people by just saying they're working class. It is enormously classist. I know that some of the best people I've ever known are working class and not racist. You don't have to be stupid. You don't have to be uneducated. You don't have to be racist. You don't have to be sexist. Okay? The fact that some working class people are, like you say, because they're more upper classes who are actually implementing these racist laws that are starting these horrific fucking wars that are bombing brown people, that's way more directly racist, but because they can do it with euphemisms like enhanced interrogation or, something like that, that means they're not racist. And so you don't have to patronizingly tell them what they're allowed to do or whatever. Anyway, but the second point I wanted to make about June projecting yet again her purity test bullshit, because hasn't she literally spent like half of the video so far dismissing people because they support a different candidate? Mm-hmm. Because they don't support her particular candidate and that set of policies. Therefore, they're not pure enough for her, so she's going to own them.
Yeah.
Because this is the point I'm talking about. She says, where's the evidence? Where's the evidence that he's a racist, sexist, blah, blah, blah? Click the link.
Yeah.
Although, that's look a screenshot. Like, she clearly went to the thing to get the screenshot. You could have clicked on that link and watched him compare a room full of black people to Planet of the Apes. Which I know you've not necessarily got a problem with because, you're happy to do that, certainly to individual black people. But, yeah, that's pretty fucking racist.
Yeah. And she just skates right past it. Thank you.
Yeah, let's not focus on that. Let's just, let's ignore that.
I'm actually becoming increasingly worried that these people aren't aware that the welfare and healthcare and all these social programs they advocate for will also help the bad people. And also,
if we just ignore racism and sexism and homophobia, we'll get, what I want, and then you'll all be happy.
Well, it's not even class reductionism. It's exactly what I believe reductionism.
Yes.
Unless you do, which is ironic because she's accusing others of gatekeeping, but basically, unless you agree with me, therefore you're against healthcare or something. I don't quite know the point she's making here.
Can I make the point that it's great if you have health care, but not if you need to use it because you've been a victim of a police shooting.
That's a very good point, yeah.
Yeah. You can't, it's not like we can put aside one thing and only care about this other thing. Mm-hmm. Chris Cassidy, just in case, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we want to give everybody health care. This is part of being in a society. We're well aware. That doesn't mean we want to promote racists. Yeah. Like, these are two different things. Like, I don't want Bernie to promote Joe Rogan and put him on his, promotional video where he's singing with Paul McCartney about America or whatever. And, don't want that. But that doesn't mean that if Joe Rogan had pneumonia, I would want him to just not be able to get to a doctor. Like, these are just different things.
Yes. It's a false comparison.
I honestly, truly don't understand. And I've actually gotten this same exact criticism where people are complaining that now I'm talking about Bernie and electoral politics. I'm talking about, like, regular politics and stuff like that, and not just culture war stuff. I've seen people like, oh yeah, she's going to bring her Nazi fan base into our spaces.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, you haven't apologized for your racism yet, you racist. You've got your fans. Yeah, go ahead, Christiosity. You go. You're the guest.
I was dogpiled just a couple days ago by your people.
Yes.
Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, I don't like interacting with people who are followed by Nazis.
Yeah.
That's it. Because then I have to fucking deal with Nazis. And I don't like them.
Yeah.
And also, it's not just Nazis. Like, I don't think a majority of her fans are Nazis or anything like that.
No.
But a lot of them are really nasty people, regardless of whether their politics are sort of okay at points. They're phenomenally unpleasant human beings.
If you want to know whether or not Shoe's fan base is racist, bring up her gorilla comment and see all the replies that tell you that what she said wasn't racist. June isn't racist. That comment's not racist. None of it's racist. It's all just fine.
Yeah.
If you want to know how many
absolutely.
racists she has, look at all the people in her comments who will defend her racist past. That's why it's so important that she makes an apology video on her main channel. Because she's not left until she stops associating with people who literally just a couple months ago were still defending that as not racist. This is not in the past, June. This is your fan base now. They follow you. And if you don't disassociate from them, you are bringing their hatred into Christiosity's feed and other people's feed. This is exactly what we're talking about.
Straight. For years now, we have been hearing about the alt-right pipeline. There have been several studies about the alt-right pipeline and how channels like Chris Rogan will bring people to the alt-right. And I've been called an alt-right pipeline, and Joe Rogan has been called an alt-right pipeline. But as soon as we start...
And you are.
Yeah.
You've literally done that throughout your career. You went on Carl's fucking channel and he has like defended the Christchurch shooter and stuff and screamed about how Elliot Rodgers was not really to blame because it was the fucking feminist system. And Joe Rogan and Carl and Lawrence Southern, your friend, have all parroted white genocide conspiracy bullshit. And actually, so was Chris Rogan. Chris Rogan, famously on Twitter, literally put out a tweet going on about why is it okay for Africa to be for the Africans, but not Europe for the Europeans or America for the Americans. Literally parroting white nationalist talking points.
Yeah, and see my previous comments.
Lines to that. And Richard Spencer himself said it, didn't he? He said Carl and June were good.
Milo.
What was it?
Milo, not June, I don't think. Milo and...
Oh, Milo. Sorry, Milo. Yes, apologies. But I mean, an acolyte in Gamergate, anyway. A good access points to the alt-right or whatever the phrase was.
Well, one, she's got her racist content and history out there. Next, she strawmans and mocks feminism, thereby legitimizing misogyny. And those are the elements that you need. Racism and misogyny. Those are the core of white supremacy. Like, that's it. So that you're good to go. If you cross those lines, you're on the teetering edge of that. And she helps get people to that point.
Gamergate 2.0, but now Gamergate 2.0 is Bernie Bros. Gamergate's back, guys, and this time they want to give you healthcare and stop forever wars. Spooky shit, man. Watch out. So yeah,
dang,
this is
girl,
just the
you're
dumbest thing
peeking.
ever.
Oh.
I was going to make it a big scripted video, but then I was like, no. Just throw it on Brainlet, just rant, just scream, just
be mad.
Go off. So I went off. I am left-wing. I consider myself left-wing. My channel is a left-wing space. You are invited.
Oh, wait. What was that? Sorry. I'm sorry. What was that? Did she just say her channel was a left-wing space? Oh, well, she's right. No, it's a space that she thinks she's left-wing in. I'll say that much. Anyone else? Okay.
Wing space. Hello, this is home. You are all my guests to my little house, my little left-wing space. You are allowed here. We are allowed to talk about issues. You are allowed to ask questions and learn more shit.
But not on Twitter, because she'll block you.
Yeah.
You ask questions there, she will block you.
When you ask her the question about her racism apology video, she blocks you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, you're not allowed to ask questions about Gamergate, though, or about
Joe Rogan.
Yeah, or you can ask certain questions.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
why is feminism like a religion? You could ask that question.
Yeah, you can ask, is the wage gap a total myth made up by internet snowflakes? That
How
question you can ask,
progressive.
yeah.
How progressive.
Yeah, that's the left wing space where you can ask these kind of left wing questions.
Sharing a big tent requires including those who do not share every one of our beliefs. I always joke about, like, vote for Bernie to own the libs, but it just gets more clear every day that that's actually a real thing. So yeah, that was that.
Oh God! Please don't tell people that.
Yeah, so basically you're saying I'm doing this to own the libs. Aren't the libs part of the group of people who don't share all your ideological positions, June?
The libs
so
are...
you've got a big tent for transphobes, but not for liberals. Okay, that's an interesting way of trying to win the Democratic nomination, is all I'll say.
Chrisiosity, sorry, you want to say something? I put a pineapple in my mouth because I thought you were going to talk.
No, it's fine. Just like
the pineapple.
No,
Sexy.
You have to actually listen to the libs.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not a liberal either, but you have to listen to them if you want their vote. I'm definitely not going to count on the right wing to vote for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. 60 odd million Americans voted for Hillary Clinton. The vast majority of those, and possibly a few more, are going to need to be voting for Bernie Sanders. So shitting on them is just a losing strategy.
I agree. All right, really, the last 30 or 10, 15 seconds now.
Let's get through it.
All right, hold on. Speakers back up. Okay.
And I'm screaming at the top of my lungs. And I will see you guys hopefully with a Shoe0nHead video next. I have something highly requested.
Oh, is it going to be your racism apology video, June?
Just had
Please
to get
make
this
that.
out
I want to
there.
watch that.
Bye.
I will definitely watch that live. I don't think she said she was up at 3 o'clock.
Oh, there we go. Hang on. There we go. Joe Rogan on leftist social retards and piranhas.
Yeah, there
That's
you go.
the person we want in our big tent, not liberals.
Yeah, this is going over great.
Well, great. That's fantastic. Thank you, YouTube, for once. Your recommendation of the next video was actually useful. Thank you.
That's true.
I mean, it's still pushing us towards right-wing guff, but it was actually worthwhile on this one occasion. Thank you.
I'll turn that off now.